Welcome to Newbie Quickstart. We're going to talk with Chris Most today about setting up a WordPress blog. Chris is a master at these kinds of things, and he can show you how to do it quickly and easily. And if you're an advanced user, and I know we have some advanced users on the call, I'm sure you'll get a chance to answer some questions as we go along. Let's let Chris go through this really quickly at the beginning, and then we'll open it up for questions when we get there. So it's all yours, Chris. Go for it.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. I think everybody can see the index page here that we created. We created a couple of them, please, if you will, just so that you guys could see the two different environments that you're likely to encounter when trying to set up a WordPress blog. Now, I wanted to do a couple of things for you here. I set up two brand new accounts on two different servers so that you would see the differences involved in what you will commonly see, when logging into your Cpanel, trying to do what I call the easy WordPress. All right, we're going to just get these logged in real quick here, and these accounts won't exist after today, but the movie video will show you everything that we have done here, and so it'll be real easy to follow along. And we're just going to, need to make sure we have the right username and password. Demo WPN, okay. WPN. And here is one of the first ones that you will see. Typically on new installations, you will find that this is a standard. Now, some of your hosting accounts may have a little custom banner up here, things like this. On a different hosting service, you will find that it will look more like this. So one of these two appearances will be what you see. There are others that will be there, but these are the most prevalent and common, so that you can see how quickly this works. Now, I'm going to take you through both the automated and the non-automated methodology. And we're going to try to cut a couple of corners, but we want to talk about fast and furious, okay? Let's just get this done quickly. We want a blog. We want to be able to install a blog, and we want to be able to use it as quickly as possible. So, you would click on, at the bottom of your panel, more likely than not, you would see a something like this. Fantastico or maybe WordPress installation down in the advanced or software or tools section. When you do that, you're going to come up on something like this, and you're going to have the opportunity just to select WordPress, and it's going to show you the version, the description, things like this. So we're going to do a new installation, at which time I'm going to go back at the end of this, and I'm going to explain a lot of things to you about the installation itself. But I want to show you how quick and easy you can get set up. There are some caveats. There are some security issues that we want to address in a moment or two. But I'll try to set up some of this thing in the advance, and we'll just get this going. Typically, when you get a WordPress blog or you start to set up a WordPress blog, what you end up with is a demo or a very basic default level installation. So we're going to set this one up that way as well. And a couple of the key security factors that I'd like you to keep in mind are never use the word admin. It's just a bad idea. So for this one, we're going to use Ken Mac. And then we're going to do a password. And again, you want to use strong passwords, but PASSWRD just for this one. And then you want to give your blog, your administrator a nickname or your own name so that you know who it is and who's working. Typically, you want to put in an email address that you would check. We're not going to do this one today, and we're just going to mark this as a demo WordPress. Now, these are all basic considerations when you go to set up your blog. Now, you can also lay in a description. This is the down and dirty, very fast method. One of my clients about 3 or 4 months ago wrote me and said, I just paid over $2,000 to get WordPress installed for me. I about fell out of my chair. But this is common that people don't know exactly what's going on. So we want to make it simple. We want to make it easy. So we're just going to simply click Install WordPress here. Now, the installation has been done. Now, understand that in a security model, this is not great. Every default installation that comes through Fantastico has the WRDP1 moniker. If you do a second blog on your site, then it would be a .2, and then a 3, and so on and so forth. But we're just going to finish this installation and show you some configurations, things like this, okay? Now, we've set this up, and we know that our username and password, so we're just going to copy this over to our text file, just so we can keep track of some things. And we're just going to make sure that we have access to everything that we need to have. Now, typically you would send your installation details to your own email address, so Ken at jvalerts.com would be, say, Ken's. And then the installation is actually done. But we're going to just kind of short step something here, and we're going to go log into it like this. We have Ken Mac and password. And right now, here you're looking at is a default blank installation of WordPress. All right? This is the way it looks. This is the way it looks on the front end. So you can see immediately that there are little or no extras. WordPress is a public system. It is built on and developed by quite literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people from the standpoint of additional extensions or plugins, different themes. Lots of people have their hand in it, but it actually works being released by one organization called WordPress.org. You can always go to WordPress.org to get the latest releases or to find the latest information about it. They talk to you about showcases, extending it, how they work, documentation, the main download, various hosting systems, and so on. So WordPress has become so accepted that it's very straight from the pocket. It does not require anything but about a 5-minute installation, as you can tell, and it's operable. Now, one of the things that you're going to find immediately, as I showed you early on, in any kind of an installation, is this is your default. This hello world is always included. And so one of the first things that you want to be able to do from the standpoint of managing your system is to look here and understand on your dashboard, your default dashboard, you will have a default comment, you will have a default post, a page, and an approval. There are all sorts of other things here that you can arrange the way you want to. These are drag and drop. So if I want to change this, I can. You can modify the layout a little bit if you prefer by just changing the organization. Very easy to manage. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get rid of all the default content. So when you hover over a block, and this is the 2.84 version, the most recent release, you have the ability to just delete the comment. Now that comment's gone. We go to the post, and there's the hello world comment, and we can either edit it or we can just delete it. And now that's done. We go back to our main dashboard, and you can see that we have one page, one category, which is called default. And if you wanted to edit that, then you would just quickly put it, instead of uncategorized, you could put it as whatever your title of your niche or your market would be, or your product category. All right? So we're just going to list it as a demo WordPress installation, and we're just going to copy and paste this. And we're done. Now, if you look at the front end of the blog, it still hasn't changed much. So this is where you want to get in and look at the appearance factors and plugins. Now let's go through some discussion on what WordPress is and how the terminology works. A blog was originated back many years ago, and it was called a web blog, or an online journal or diary. You can go look it up at Wikipedia, but we're going to kind of cut through the chase here and make it as quick as we can. A post is what you do, or to create an article, and we would call this a demo article, or it could be called a demo news. And then you want to just simply enter your text in this way, and then you would enter your tags this way, and this is by default. We could save this as a draft right now. Boom, it's saved. If we want to preview or edit this post, then we could add a lot more stuff to it, and we can just copy and paste some things here, and there is the additional post, and we're going to just click the Publish button. Now it's ready to work. Now there are other areas like excerpts that you might want to use. You can create your own custom fields. We're going to allow people to comment, allow people to use trackbacks and pings on this. And now we're basically done with our first level. You can also change your permalinks. There are just a number of features, and quite frankly, I may not be the absolute expert on this. I've done several, hundreds, or we've maintained several hundred or several thousand installations over time on these. We were associated a few years back with some other people that had some technology quite literally capable of installing thousands of WordPress blogs. But at the present time, what we're looking here is we want to make sure that our blog is usable, it's functional, and it's helping us. So we're going to click the Publish button on this. Now we have a post. We're simply going to refresh this, and now it shows us that we have a demo article already done. All right? You can go back and edit any of this as you want, make extensive modifications. But what we want to do now is we want to possibly go change the appearance. We want to enhance the appearance. So that's one of the big aspects that we're going to talk about now. Now, when setting up a new blog, you need to ask yourself the most powerful questions in the world, and that is, do you have a domain name? Now, we talked about getting a domain the last time. We talked about the importance of name versus market for overall consideration. If you do have a domain, then you can quickly have a blog. That fast and easy. If you're hosting on Yahoo, or if you're possibly hosting through GoDaddy, you could host through eBay. These blogging hosting platforms do work, and they're very functional for that. Much beyond those elements, you're stuck with exactly what they want you to do. And that is exactly why we wanted to talk to you about other options. And one of the other options that you have, and it's just going to take a moment to show you this, is actually owned and operated by Google. And it's called Blogger. And when you get to it, you're right here. Now, Blogger itself has, let me just sign out of Blogger. You can see it's a google.com account, so it takes a moment. Here's your starter page. You can do this in about 7 minutes, and you can find any number of free ebooks out there to teach you how to do this, but it is that quick and simple. So for our purposes today, we're only focusing on WordPress. There are other platforms that you can decide to potentially use as well. Typepad.com. My company, netfluence.com, has a blogging and content management system. But WordPress itself is the primary one that the most people use. Why do we use WordPress? Well, it's fast and easy. Have anywhere between a 1 and a 5 minute installation. There are quite literally thousands of ways to extend it. There's thousands of options to get free design or themes or content support. You have a community, and when you get down to the support factors, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to get your hands dirty a little bit? Bottom line is, without writing and without developing, you're not going to be able to adequately run a WordPress blog. Sure, there are some cheater plugins, and I call them cheater plugins. I've used them for years. I know how they work, and the end result is that if you're not writing or you're not having somebody write for you, then you're basically using something to try to get by for nothing, and it just doesn't work. WordPress best is used as a community building, as a site building, as a knowledge base of building. You can use it as content management. There are plenty of extensions out there to now use it for memberships. You can use it for video sites. You can use it for anything. Support, though. Let's talk about support. 99.9% of the support that you're going to get is going to come from community or forums. And private services. Private services meaning, as I mentioned earlier in this call, the one client I had who paid a couple of grand to have a WordPress system installed for him, those can be bought. There are plenty of pirates out there, folks. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. If you want to pay $500 for something and it's being sold for $2,000, look around. Be smart about this. WordPress is a publicly used product. There are plenty of places that you can get an installation on your own domain done for free. You can even do it yourself as quickly as I showed you just now. So just stay aware. Now, the primary steps that we want to do to look at or understand WordPress is the way we're going to configure this. Now, I'm going to talk about this for just a minute, and I'm going to pause this, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and load up my FTP program. We're going to use FileZilla, which is very simple, easy to use, and I'm just going to create a login for myself real quickly. But part of the things, or most of the things that you really want to look at, you have to go to WordPress.org to download the system. You need to rename the configuration file. You need to set up your MySQL databases. You need to modify the configuration file. Then you have to FTP or upload these files. Then you have to change permissions on the files and the directories depending on the host that you have, and then run the installation. All total, about 10 minutes. So not a big deal when you look at that. However, it can take you some time. And so one of the things that I wanted to do today was effectively just show you a manual install and how quick it can be also facilitated for you, because we don't want you frustrated in any of this. And secondly, we don't want you to have to pay through the nose for a simple service that you can basically do yourself. So I've done a quick connect here on one of mine, and we're going to just, on one of my domains. And we're going to just come back to this. Now you should be back looking at my screen in my FTP program. I use FileZilla. And all we've done here is decided that we would take on WordPress itself. So you would go to WordPress.org. You would click the download button. It's only a couple of meg. It'll only take a few seconds here while we're waiting. And we're going to go ahead and put it here in the security plugins, because that's one of the things that I was doing while I set this up for Ken this morning. And you can see that it is now ready to go. So we're just going to come over here, and we'll go to WordPress, and security plugins. And here is the latest WordPress 2.84. We're just going to extract it to here. It'll take it a moment or two to unpack. That's unzipping for people that aren't familiar. Now, when I talk about installation, you have a couple of things here that you need to understand. This file, wp-config-sample.php, this is the sample configuration file. So in order to edit it, you have to open it up. And these would be where you would actually create your editing here, where you put your database, your username, your password, your host, the character set, things like this. Now, the rest of this you do not have to touch right now, but you do have to set it up if you're going to do a full installation. So we're just going to do a quick F2, which gives you the ability to edit this. And we're going to rename the file, and then I'll do this online as well. Now, the fastest way to probably FTP this is just to Control-C or copy all of this. You open your file transfer program or your FileZilla program, and you simply drag and copy all of those items over to where you're going to be uploading to. Now, this is saying that you want to really kind of restrict how it works and build on it from there. So I'm going to take a moment here, and while we're doing this, I'm going to log into the Cpanel as well on it, and it is just a demo account as well. And we're just going to open that up. Let's see here where it is. There it is. We're going to go over here to the file manager. And now this is called the X3 version and of Cpanel. You can also run WordPress on Windows. It's just not quite as clean as you'd like probably it to run, but it can run. So, you know, let's don't call anything bad news. It will work, and it's very, very powerful. As you can tell, the upload is not quite done yet, but this one is, and this is what we want to really focus on. So we're going to go over here to our Cpanel. We're going to create a manual database, and that database we're just going to call it Demo. And the next step is it's going to be Demo. And again, part of your security issues, if you're using this level of Cpanel or control panel, you can generate a very strong password. For today's sake, we're not going to. We would like it to just be quick and easy. We go to the next step, and then you attach the privileges to it. And for simplicity, again, you just select all privileges. Click the next step, and there you have it. The database with the username, demo, and the password has been created already. So we're going to go over here to our Cpanel where our WP config is located, and we're going to simply edit this file. I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is. And as it opens up, it asks you to put your database in here, put your username in here, and then put our password in here, which was demo. All right, that's it. We're going to save the changes. Go back to WordPress, do a quick refresh. It's going to show us that all the files are uploaded or are being uploaded. They're not quite done yet. Not that many left to go, so we'll wait just a moment on this, and we'll go back to the presentation piece. When you've done this, in order to run the semi-automated WordPress installation like I showed you through Cpanel, you must have your own hosting and you must have your own domain name. Now, you know, we make recommendations that you can use, I think, theimpactfactor.com/hosting, Netfluence Hosting. Both of those are basically HostGator services. And host service provider probably will almost always have Cpanel. This is relatively easy. Now, why would you do it this way? Because of speed. It is very, very fast, but it is really, really basic. So we need to consider exactly what is being done and how it's being managed so that we have the opportunity to extend WordPress. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do while we're looking here, I'm going to go look at the directory that we were using, and I'm going to go up into the security. There are basically 4 basic secure issues that you want to manage with WordPress. You want to make sure that if you can, you want to have a stealth login. You also want to lock down your login, meaning that you do not want people just meandering through it. Because as quick as you can say Tom Thumb or tomfoolery, give a decent hacker about 10 minutes, and they're going to be owning your blog if you leave it unattended for very long. Now, the chances of that happening out of over 1 billion people on the Internet and maybe 500 million sites might be relatively thin off the bat, but if you've ever left a blog up or a site up that wasn't really very secured, you need to understand that it can happen very quickly, and I think most of us have already experienced Windows PCs, potential antivirus things, elements like this. Now, when you do get into this, we want to look at some ways to upload or to manage the security. When you use Fantastico, every database and every WordPress installation is identical, and that presents the possible problems. Some hosting services are left vulnerable because they're not that sophisticated or do not know how to isolate their users. Basically, their services have been around for a long time. They haven't really upgraded, things like this. And then even default WordPress installations, when done manually, can cause problems because the file structure is exactly like the next one before it and the one after it. So, what we're wanting to do today is just come back along here and understand that there are easy ways to secure installations. You can use plugins to help you, and there'll be a list of these. I've already got them laid out here. The main ones to consider right off the bat are called Ask Apache, which is password protection for your login area, for your WordPress admin. Login Lockdown, Stealth Login, and those are the big ones. So if you want to use something, create Stealth Login, you can create a custom link. You want to pick a very strong password. And I'm sorry, your dog's name and your child's birthday just doesn't cut it. You need to have a few steps beyond that because there are password hacking programs that you can put up that can basically take advantage of you and just quickly eliminate all these potential areas and have you right back where you started from, not doing that well, and all of a sudden your site's been shut down because it's been hacked. So there are some little problems with that, and we want to address those as we can. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this manual installation right now. And here's the installation, the famous 5-minute install. Can you hear me? And
yep, absolutely.
we're going to go ahead. Okay. So we're going to go ahead with this and get this done as quickly as we can. And we're just going to put in a demo at, no, we're not going to look back for this installation. You can turn it on or off. Install WordPress, okay. Username and password, and you log in. Boom. Anything you didn't see there? That was pretty straightforward, wasn't it? Let's just go back. Here's our password that they've selected for us. And then we're using the admin username. See the potential problem here? So let's just log in quickly, and we're going to just make sure that we're in and that our system is working. I'm also going to quickly upload some securities for you. And we're going to upload the content into the plugins. These security plugins are very, very powerful, very valuable, and they're worth every moment that you take to install them. There's only about 4 or 5. There are about 13 or 14 different steps that we can have. So really my concern is that you just don't get stuck with a default installation. Never use your admin username. Think about encrypting your password or using that type of a process to use very strange password combinations. Consider antivirus. Make sure that you use WordPress antivirus. You can also use what's called WordPress firewall. And that is a big benefit because it will log everything that's going on with that. Now we're going to go up here and I'm going to show you what I've done is I've got the themes, and these are the final themes that we have chosen. They are free. They do not cost anything. There are a lot of them, and you can find them just basically by going to WordPress.org. I'm going to show you how quick and easy the upgrade of a theme like this system is, and you'll see that it's going to go very quickly. It's almost 50%, and I'm uploading a zip file. Now, there are quite literally hundreds of plugins that you can use. Probably the only one or one of the few besides security that we want to make sure that you have in your installation is called All-in-One SEO. Ken can attest to how quickly or how valuable this one particularly is. It search engine optimizes your blog and gives you the ability to control some things that are no longer by default. Now, the second major plugin that you want to make sure you have is called Ultimate Plugins Smart Update. WordPress does a couple of funny things, and it'll automatically ping everybody in the world every time you edit even a letter or a period in an existing post. You don't want to do that, so we want to minimize while that works. Otherwise, there's some really pretty powerful ones out there. Customized greetings, things like this that you can get. I've got a list of about 90 that I use, and I don't use them all on every blog, but they are very powerful, and so you want to at least try to look at and take advantage of what's going on with your installation. But as you can see, here's the finished blog just as we created on the other one, only it was manually created. There it is, same exact theme again. And so we want to just quickly pull this apart, get it under control as quickly as we can. And then I'm going to take only about 2 or 3 more minutes here. I'm just going to go unpack some of the files that we uploaded. And by unpack, I'm going to unzip some additional themes. And we're also going to unzip not any plugins, but those themes so that you can see exactly how easy that is. Now we can choose our appearance, and now this is the default theme by WordPress. Here is one called Blue Sensation. If you go to dailyblogtips.com, they have a list of about, 25 or 30 different themes. You can see that there's, it's a blogger's world. You can look at a green called Decker, dark Zen, kind of black and gray, a XP or a blue type, Frugal, WP. Is a free one as well. And then you have Icy Blue and Green Tech and so on. And I've got about 22 of these I just uploaded while we've been on the phone, so in less than 7 minutes. And you can see that there are many different themes. And when you click on it, there's the default. All you have to do is activate it. Take it a moment to set up. do a quick refresh. Now, if you were looking at a blog, would this look better than this? The answer is yes. And, of course, like I said, you have a lot of different choices here to come up with your own options, but I think when you look at it across the board or look at everything that we've done in this very short period of time, you're going to see just how quick, easy, and functional this can be for you. Again, you want to change the theme again, we'll go to an orange. And then that's been activated. We'll just refresh it, and you'll see that the red changes to orange and a little bit of a contrast there. One more really cool thing you can do with this particular type of theme in the new WordPress, and I'm going to tell you right now, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, WordPress isn't a fraction of what it is today. It's valuable, it's functional, it's purpose-driven, it is maintained very, very well, and you have to just be able to accept the fact that, you know, what once may not have been perfect is moving quickly to become a very powerful system for a lot of different content. And WordPress can serve you in many, many different ways. If you want to, if you want to discuss this more, Ken, it's now 1:44. I know we wanted to get this shut down as quickly as we could, or get this, tied up as quickly as we could. Now you can see that, here we are. I've got sponsors, I've got categories, I've got RSS feeds, and really all I've done at this point in time is I've done some drag and drop work. You can see how easy this is. You can arrange these. That if you don't like the pages at the bottom, well, then let's take it and drag it up here. So overall, you can just see how quick and easy this is. It does not have to cost you money. It does not have to, disrupt your work. And you can get into Internet and beyond the Internet functionally in a very attractive manner in a very, very quick amount of time. Like I said, about 7, 8, 9 minutes from the time we started the manual update. So, Ken, I'm going to turn this back to you and ask you if we could, talk to some people about getting some questions and, can I answer some questions for you guys?
Absolutely. And just to let people know, Chris and I have already talked about doing a follow-up session to this. We do like to keep these really short for a couple of reasons. Number one is that right after this at 2 o'clock in 15 more minutes, I've got the private mentoring call with the people from the Info Product Blueprint mentoring class, and those members are really enjoying that stuff. We don't want to interrupt that, but also to keep things short for each individual video. So we will be doing a follow-up to this, so a WordPress installation 2.0 if you like that terminology. But we're going to open it up here for a couple minutes and just get some questions from you folks really quick. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you to do, because there are only so many people that I can unmute. I know Chris really likes an open kind of a situation, but there is a limit. If you just raise your hand, I will definitely unmute your mic. And Steve, you got a question? You can go ahead and talk. And if anybody else has questions, just raise your hands and I'll hit you guys first. Okay, Steve, can you talk?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to ask Chris what he thought about the thesis theme, if he knows anything about that.
Oh, I know thesis. I love it. And for the money, buy the development version so that you can use it on every site that you have. Can take a little work to get used to. We've got that installed on a couple of Ken's blogs, and it works really, really well. Gives you a lot of flexibility because it was built for the definitive marketer and or blogger. You can control the layout. You can control the sidebars. You can even control the number of columns that you're doing. So even if you wanted to go create a short, say, e-course or a multi-page e-course that you were doing a sidebar on, you can configure thesis to use just the header and the footer, and all of a sudden you've got a dedicated space without the interruptions of either ads or other potential link adversaries that would set up in your primary, your viewable space. So,
Great.
big fan of Thesis themselves. We've used it a lot in affiliate marketing.
Yeah, I'm using it on one of my blogs too. So great tool, Steve. Linda, you have a question. Was Linda there? If not, Linda, we've got Lois.
Yes, I was having trouble uploading files using FileZilla. Do you have any idea what could be causing the problem?
You mean you're not able to upload any files?
I was trying to upload my WordPress, and I installed the WordPress theme, but I couldn't add any plugins or do any of that.
It probably has to do with permissions, and I don't know if you're running your own server or if someone's running it for you. Two things. If you are using a service where somebody hosts your WordPress for you, they may have to open up the plugins directory or the WP-content directory to allow those directories to be written to. And sometimes people lock them down. I've seen that happen where people just do specific hosting. So I would check first with your host and ask them about permissions. Another thing you can do when you're looking at your actual blog yourself, and let me just refresh this for a minute, like this particular window. Let me make it a little bigger. You can see this over here on this file, Akismet. These are the permissions that are set for it. If you go up one, the WP content directory, the plugins directory, the file attributes that are there are 755 because that's the directory structure that I've got for executables on one server. Other times it will need to be 777. So you would just simply click this. You might even try this, then click OK, and see if you're able to write to your plugins directory. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to tell you, because I don't know who your hosting is, you probably are going to need to speak to your host and tell them you're having trouble FTP and upload.
Okay.
I know that's not
I shall the note.
All right, great. And here's a question for you from Linda. Linda's asking about how you add header graphics.
Well, some themes themselves, and let me just do some themes themselves. I think we're using Studio Orange. Some themes themselves have banners. So if we look at bannerimage.jpg, that is the top banner image for this blog, and that's right up here. Okay, so you can replace this or in other areas. Let me go over here. I want to look at make sure I'm using the right one. I want to go over here and I want you to see one of the easiest ones to work with in that regard. It's called Frugal, and you just activate Frugal. Then it's done. And then one of the things that we'll do is we will go edit the options on Frugal itself. Sorry. Taking a second to connect, I guess. And you can activate a custom style sheet. You can use a custom logo. You can use a full banner. So one of the easiest ways would be to use a custom logo like this under Frugal. And then just literally you would take the image from your own file set over here. You'd have to find one. And you would just replace this specific image, maybe your skyscraper. Sometimes they're called header or they're called background top. Each of the individual themes or a theme that you would choose to use will have its own name for that. So let's look over here and let's see here. If we view the image itself, we can see, yes, there's the banner image itself. If we go back, you can see that we've now changed themes. Let's just refresh this. We could put a entire banner right up here in this section up here in Frugal. So usually very quick and easy. You simply select the graphic that you want to replace. You copy it down to your own desktop. You would then edit that banner and then copy that right back up. Or if somebody built one for you, you could use it that way.
Yeah, yeah. William's asking, is there? He uses the program, the plugin All-in-One SEO. Is there a way to back up all the information? I guess he's got over 100 blog posts that he's got SEO information on. So.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the best ones in the world that I'm going to show you here is WordPress Backup, WordPress DB Backup. And that's a plugin that you can get. If you just go to WordPress.org and extend it, go to the plugins. I'm going to show you how quick and easy this can work for you. 1 second, let me just get it. Now we're uploading this. Take it about maybe 1 or 2 minutes at the speed that I'm running, even with the video. There's quite a bit of activity with it, but what it does is it gives us the ability to just quickly and easily back up our entire database. And we go right over here. We go to our dashboard. All right, now we have our dashboard, and we have our plugins and our settings. And you can look right here and see all-in-one SEO. You can look at our smart updates, your firewall, your tools, and part of your database backup, so that you could actually export your files if you wanted to. Couple of ways to do this. You can either export everything. You can download your export file, which will back up everything, or we can go, oops, I forgot to turn that plugin on. Let me turn that WP Backup plugin on, and we'll activate that. And now that it is activated, it should show up in the tools. Now you can back up your comments, your posts, including your without your revisions, all of your extras. You can save it or download it to a file. You can email it to yourself. If you download it to your computer, you can also set a schedule on this to do this once a day or once a week and email it to you. Setting your options. Just click the Backup Now button, and it's done.
Great, Chris.
Yep.
Fantastic presentation. We're really, really short on time, unfortunately. Let me just emphasize a couple things to people real quickly before we go. We will hold a follow-up broadcast of this. If you want to be on that event, definitely go to newbiequickstart.com and sign up there. As you can see, there's lots and lots of things, and lots of times people hit different roadblocks. Getting your questions answered can be tough because there are a lot of people out there that want answers to their questions. But you can always get questions if you're answered if you're part of the new Newbie Quickstart mentoring program, which Chris and I are running. If you want access to both of us to answer all of your technical questions, one-on-one kind of a situation, we have regular private coaching calls, and it's very, very affordable. If you want information on that, you can get that information at newbiequickstart.com/beta.php. That's newbiequickstart.com/beta.php. And those people get constant attention every single week, plus tons of different materials that we're going. But the real value is the one-on-one, step-by-step, answer your problems when you're up against a roadblock and you really need some technical help. This is a great, great way to get it. So definitely encourage you to take part in that program. Watch out for the next Newbie Quickstart broadcast. Be sure and get signed up now at newbiequickstart.com, so you'll be there for all of the events. Thank you so much, Chris, for today. You did an outstanding job, and everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.